Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy Human Aggression Paradox, written by tDegan. Humans are, all things considered, a pretty normal race. Yet, in one regard, they defy all norms. This is called the Human Aggression Paradox. 100 years ago, Diplomatic Headquarters, Earth. We have just received the communique from the Bodegon. They have challenged us to a Tier 5274 system. Challenged? What are they claiming it's part of their territory? The translators say it's more of a declaration that they will take the system from us by force. Sounds more like a declaration of war to me then. Well, yes, but the translation cautioned that the translations may still be incorrect. Don't tell me. They always say that. I would too if the outbreak of an interstellar war depended on my translations. Well, I don't want it either. Forward it to the government, and it's their problem. Will do. Oh, and give the fleet the heads up too. Unofficially, of course. Of course. 2 weeks and 150 light years later, flag breach of the UNS James, flagship of the 2nd Human Fleet. How long until we reach Tier 5274? We will be leaving hyperspace in 10 minutes, sir. Good. Fleet status? Admiral Robertson asked. All ships report ready for battle, sir. Communication Officer John Howard answered. That was the 4th time in 10 minutes, John thought to himself. The Admiral is just as nervous as all of us. No wonder, though. It'll be the first confrontation between a human fleet and an 81. Ever. Who knows what is going to happen? After way too much time, the navigation announcement finally sounded from the bridge speakers. Leaving hyperspace in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop. Deep inside the ship, John noticed nothing as the giant energy set free from the transition from hyperspace. Just a flicker from the status indicator in the corner, and there were 2 light hours from Tier 5274, a K-type star in the middle of nowhere. What is the status? Looks empty. There's a colony station above Tier 3, and some smaller ships between it and the asteroid belt. Probably miners. That's it. Came from navigation. John could feel the tension leave the bridge crew. Seems like we were fast enough. Contact the colony, the Admiral ordered. Yes, sir. Based on our distance, we expect an answer at the earliest in 3 hours, 55 minutes. Good. Direct calls for Tier 3. And tell the fleet to reduce readiness. 3 hours and 58 minutes later, John glanced at his screen again, waiting for an answer from Tier 3 colony. They had already picked up omnidirectional chatter from the various mining ships, indicating that everything was alright. So, he was not overly nervous, but still, there was a new inbound message. Message type Bodegan symbol. Feck! Sir, we just received a Bodegan message. The interpretation team is working on it. The temperature in the room seemed to drop by several degrees. From where? Came back from the command chair. Right from the colony, either from the station or right next to it. Navigation, keep your eyes open. Make sure that we don't have a surprise fleet hiding somewhere. Yes, sir. Another message from the colony station. Received another message from the colony this time. They say that there is a Bodegan ship hanging around Tier 3, but they haven't touched the colony yet. Good. Maybe we still have a chance to solve this without bloodshed. Keep on course, and let's wait on the translation. John all but stared at his screen, waiting for the translation. What did it take so long? It had already been, he glanced over at the clock, barely 2 minutes. Couldn't the clock go faster or something? How long would this take? He glanced over at the clock. Another 10 seconds gone by, while the rest of the bridge was searching for a hidden fleet somewhere. All he could do was wait until sounded from his headphones. Finally, the translation, or as they called it, preliminary interpretation. He opened it. This made no sense. Sir, we have received a first draft. The Bodegan are asking why we brought so many ships. Something about this system is only worth 1,000 units. Unknown what is meant by units. Anyway, they are inviting us over to their ship to discuss the battle plan. So, on the positive, we're stronger than they thought. On the negative, I want to murder the cultural exchange team. Let's wait for a full translation, and then we'll know more. Tell the fleet we don't expect hostilities in the immediate future. Several hours and too many messages sent back and forth between the fleet and the tDegan small warship, as they had learned later. Admiral Robertson looked around the table, full of tired faces. So to summarize, when a nation challenges another for territory, they use some weird formula to calculate the worth of the territory, and then both sides send that amount to a predetermined battleground to battle it out. And in our case, that is 1,000 ground soldiers. More or less, they also take the size of the nations into account for fairness, plus the host of other factors, but that is the important part. Laura Rennell, the head of interpretation, confirmed. So it's a war game, just with death, and against an enemy which had perfected it. She shook her head. This is a fight we can't win. But we have a whole fleet. Just blow them out the sky and be done with it. And then what? This is barely worth calling a conflict. This system is nearly worthless. But when we attack them outside the game, who knows how they will react? Maybe we could roll them over like nothing. Or humans are history in a year. No. We'll get our people out of here, give them an empty system, and let the smart people back home figure out how to handle them next time. The next time? Of course. They have a codified way to battle for territory. This might as well be a daily business for them. 1 year later, Earth. They have taken K539-56 as well. The Adronians this time. That makes 5 in just the last 2 months. This can't continue. But what can we do, Mr. President? We have analyzed their battle games, and even ignoring the moral issues, we are wholly unable to win against them. It is their game, and they have perfected it. And a direct attack, none of these systems are worth nearly enough to justify war. In fact, we haven't actually lost anything yet, other than time for the colony ships. But what when they reach the colonies? At that point, we will have to defend us regardless. And if we can't win their games by then, we might be in luck there. Robert Niles, head of cultural exchange, interrupted. We are still not sure about the details, but there seems to be an exclusion zone around every home system. My team believes that they won't challenge us with systems inside it. How large is it? About 50 light years from Earth in every direction. We need to be sure. The colony of Hydrox 84 is 45 light years away. If that is safe, we may avoid a war altogether. Not war. That'd be great. The Soul Wars were bad enough. We also need to issue our general staff for building permanent installations further out than, say, 40 light years for now. And tell the miners and everyone else out there just to move on to when someone else wants that system. Yes, sir. And prepare statements for when this gets out. Something along the lines of, we'll not let our citizens die in meaningless war games. We defend the peace. The aliens are too dumb to be real war, and so on. We can turn this into a positive thing. We just have to do it right. Today, humans are, all things considered, a pretty normal species. Yet in one regard, they defy all norms. This is called the human aggression paradox. The lecture hall was packed. The lecture of cultural values and how they have crossed species always had a high attendance. But today's lecture on the human paradox filled every last seat, as well as most of the crowd. It is well known that every successful sapient species has a certain level of aggression, from the individual over groups to the largest nations. This is a simple requirement for survival. Regardless whether they are herbivores or carnivores, a group of any size can be aggressive. Yes, even the peace-loving herbivore backed into a corner would rather charge their attacker than let itself be killed. In a herd, they might stampede over their predators, and as a nation, they will battle for any system they might make a home. The audience nodded along, the theory of equal aggression standing solid for the last 5 centuries. Yet, humans defy this rule in not the most absurd way possible. The aggression of the individual or group is classified as slightly above average, just as 15% above all other sapient species. Yet on a national level, they are the only species to ever be classified as fully peaceful, with no recorded conflicts. In fact, they are the only species where the national aggression index is more than 1 step below the individual or group level. Sadly, to this day we have not been able to find an explanation for this missing aggression. Many, me included, believe there is still a large hole in our ability to understand each other, as every question on this matter is answered with this nonsensical statement. We don't play war. We either do war or we don't. End of story. Just a quick shout out to the T5 peeps. Bob the Dragon, Cat Crab Lobster, Data Magnet, Dark Machine, Bezic, Try Again 95, Pudic Yol, Astrea the Dreamer, Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Athilia, Meridian 117, and Jordan Bucksmorm. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.